Hey Eagles fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now, and today, plenty of fresh Eagle news and rumors. Before we start though, give this video a thumbs up if you guys are excited for the NFL season. Are you guys ready for football to start? I know we're a long way away and it might be delayed a little bit, but if you're still excited, hit that thumbs up button for me. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, are you still confused about Jalen Hurts being drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the second round? Well, I am too, but hopefully we can figure it out together with this latest bit of information that's circling the National Football League. The Eagles are preparing a Taysom Hill package on steroids for Jalen Hurts going into the 2020 season. Yes, you heard me right. The Philadelphia Eagles, who drafted Jalen Hurts, number 53 overall in the 2020 draft on Friday, expect Jalen Hurts to not only be on the football field in 2020, they expect him to be on the football field more so than Taysom Hill, which is... oh boy, I mean, this is going to be very, very interesting. Now, there are a lot of you guys who have come around to the idea of Jalen Hurts being an Eagle, and props to you for, I guess, changing your mind completely in a span of a couple of days. I have not. This still makes no sense in my opinion, and yet here we go with a Taysom Hill package on steroids. That whole idea is just, oof, it's going to be interesting. Here was where this source came from. It was an interview on Yahoo Sports NFL podcast talking about Jalen Hurts saying, quote, "A source with specific insight on the Hurts selection said there was some offensive evolution in mind, as well as this pick being a stiff lean into the coaching staff's preference. That's what ultimately led to the Hertz pick, allowing head coach Doug Pearson to groom a talented backup to starter Carson Wentz, while potentially lining up some two quarterback packages that have been on the Eagles' mind since the offseason passing program." Oh my goodness. All right, so two quarterbacks in the backfield. When was the last time we saw that in Philadelphia? Oh yeah, it was Michael Vick during Donovan McNabb's final season, and Vick and the gadget plays didn't really work. I mean, whenever Vick was the actual quarterback, it worked, but the gadget plays did not. Now, if you are on the side of Jalen Hurts being a Taysom Hill threat-like player for the Eagles, there's a little bit of a, precedent for that in terms of the fact that he was great in terms of passing the football last year. 32 passing touchdowns at Oklahoma, only 8 interceptions. The big stat, though, he had 20 rushing touchdowns last year. I had to do a double take whenever I looked up Jalen Hurts' actual rushing stats. He was phenomenal running the football, which we knew that he was. I think the stats are a little bit better than a lot of people expected. 233 carries, 1,298 yards, 20 rushing touchdowns. And so the idea of Jalen Hurts getting the football as a running back, I guess, is a real possibility. Now, that NFL podcast on Yahoo Sports went on to say, quote, what I was told is, if you snap the ball and you have two guys in the backfield and either of them can throw the football from where they are in the backfield, how does the defense deal with that? It presents a concept that now the defense has to sit and think about. Okay, so again, this sounds very fun and very exciting and very innovative, right? The Eagles will start the whole future process of two quarterbacks in the backfield. Just stop. There's a reason that this has not caught on in the National Football League. Have there been plenty of quarterbacks with Jalen Hurts' skill set to come out of the NFL draft? Yes, none of them have worked in terms of two quarterback sets. You're taking snaps away from Carson Wentz, and that's my big worry going into the 2020 season. If Wentz is hot, and then you run some weird gadget play that doesn't work, are you going to mess up his timing, mess up his rhythm? I just still don't like this pick. I'm still under the impression that there were other and better players available at number 53 overall. A.J. Epinesa, defensive end, a place the Eagles really didn't address in the draft. He was there. J.K. Dobbins, excuse me, the running back that I really wanted, went a couple of picks later. That would have been a lot better in terms of who would you rather have running the football, a quarterback or a running back. I'd rather have a running back. Van Jefferson, the wide receiver out of Florida, and my personal favorite, Denzel Mims, who went 10 picks later, and the Eagles didn't get him either. So, listen, maybe I'm in the minority now because a lot of Eagle fans are coming around to the Jalen Hurts pick. I still haven't. Do you guys like the Jalen Hurts pick? If you do, type Y down below in the comment section. If you don't, type N down below. That's what I'm going to type right now. N down below in the comment section because I still am not a fan of the Hurts pick. All right, moving on. Other news here. Listen, it sounds like Alshon Jeffery is going to be cut any day now. Now, it probably is going to be closer to the July 1st deadline, but you get my point here. The silence on Alshon Jeffery is speaking a lot louder than actually talking about Alshon Jeffery, and I'll explain. Listen, there are rumors that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to try and trade Alshon Jeffery during the NFL draft, although I think most of us knew that was basically impossible because no team was going to actually really give up a lot for Alshon Jeffery. And with the Eagles drafting 3 wide receivers and also trading for Marquise Goodwin, it feels like Alshon is probably on the way to actually actually being cut in the coming months. Now, before I actually read you what Howie Roseman said about Alshon Jeffery, which is the big point on this little bit of news, be sure to subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles Now, as we're approaching 9,000 subs here on the channel. I mean, we're growing at a crazy great rate. Welcome all of our new subs during the NFL draft. We cover the Eagles better than anybody else here on YouTube, so I encourage you guys to go ahead and click the red subscribe button. Here's what Howie Roseman had to say, or I guess didn't say, about Alshon Jeffery in an interview with 94 WIP, talking about his veteran receivers. Quote, "We're going to have to lean on DeSean Jackson and Greg Ward, who we know has come into his own and has been on our team for a couple of years. Guys like that, and now Marquise Goodwin." Again, he was asked about veteran wide receiver leadership on this team. He mentions Jackson, he mentions Greg Ward, and Marquise Goodwin before he mentioned Alshon Jeffery, which I think tells you everything you need to know. They are not planning on Alshon Jeffery being on this team going into the 2020 season. They're just not. And the stats, they declined last year. He was injured a lot. The big indicator, besides Howie Roseman being mum, and Doug Peterson was as well, has got to be the fact they added Jalen Reagor and John Hightower and Quez Watkins and Marquise Goodwin. Like, they added a ton of receivers, even though they were later round receivers and not the good ones we wanted them to go ahead and add, but I digress. They still got a bunch of receivers, and I think Alshon Jeffery will probably be let go during the offseason, or if a miracle happens, traded at some point before the start of training camp. Question for you guys here. Will Alshon Jeffery be an Eagle in 2020? Type 1 down below for yes. Type 2 down below for no. I'd be surprised if people are typing 1. I think he's legit going to be cut. That's why we're talking about it here right now. Speaking of one of the receivers, that is the reason why Jeffery might be cut. How about the newest one, Marquise Goodwin, who was traded to Philadelphia by the 49ers on day 3 of the draft. Basically swapped 6th-round draft picks, and then we got Marquise Goodwin. Basically gave us Marquise Goodwin. That's not the news here, though. The news is we restructured Marquise Goodwin's deal, which is very, very pro-Philadelphia Eagles. It's very, very team-friendly, and I think it's going to help out in terms of the Eagles wanting him to go ahead and become the next speed demon for Philadelphia on the brand new track star Eagle wide receiver squad. So here's the deal. Marquise Goodwin, his contract comparison, old versus new. Here's what it was whenever we traded for him. He had a $3.95 million base salary this year and a $6.45 base salary in 2021. That's way too much to give a guy who had 12 catches last year. His new restructured Eagles contract is only 1 year. $1.35 million this year. He'll be a free agent in 2021. You can see what he's banking on here. Goodwin is banking on Carson Wentz getting him the football, padding his stats this year, and then going into the 2021 free agency class, hopefully getting a brand new deal and a lot of money. I was not excited about Marquise Goodwin whenever we traded for him, and it's basically due to the production, which was non-existent with San Francisco. 12 catches, 186 yards, 15.5 yards per catch, and 1 touchdown. Did he deal with some injuries last year? Yeah, and San Francisco's little mum on the injuries that he actually was having. It was lower body. Was it a knee? What is it? Was it an ankle? But hopefully, and this is big, hopefully he's going to be healthy, and with a quarterback like Carson Wentz throwing him the football alongside Reagor and alongside DeSean Jackson and Hertz and Goddard and Miles Sanders, hopefully he can go ahead and break out to that deep threat, that vertical passing star that he once was in the National Football League. Who's the best wide receiver on the Eagles right now? This is like a legitimate question I want you guys to answer. The best wide receiver on the Eagles right now is who? Is it Jeffery? Is it Jackson? Is it Reagor? Is it Ward? Is it Goodwin? Type A down below for Alshon Jeffery, type B for DeSean Jackson, type C for Reagor, D for Ward, and E for Goodwin. I would suggest it probably be DeSean Jackson, but I'm really hoping that Jalen Reagor is going to be the best receiver on this team going into not only this season in 2020, but further on as well. I think Jalen Reagor, hopefully, again, will be a star for the Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't like the pick whenever they initially got him. I thought there were better receivers on the board at number 21 overall, especially a guy like Justin Jefferson. But after watching the film and doing what all draft people do, after, you know, the team they cover picks a guy, they try and go, okay, wait a second, that looks pretty good. I think it's going to work out pretty well in terms of Jalen Reagor going forward. But who is the best Eagle wide receiver? Let me know in the comment section right now. Jeffery, Jackson, Reagor, Ward, or Goodwin. A, B, C, D, or E. I guess if you type Ward, then you're just, you like undrafted free agents, which is fine. That's fine by me. All right, all time we have for today on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Plenty more content coming up later this week, including the mailbag, which I got you guys' questions. We'll be doing that later on this week. For Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott. We go ahead and sign off. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.